As a historian, the potential battle that may take place for America to gain control of the vital Strait of Hormuz and the weapons the Iranians would employ to stop them puts me in mind of another bloody battle over 80 years ago, the naval battle of Okinawa in 1945. Just think about it for a moment. If the US and other nations use warships to try and force the Strait of Hormuz, they will face a series of weapons eerily similar to those faced by the US and Royal Navies in 1945 off Okinawa. In 2026, they are Iranian bomb-armed drones like the Shahed.
مسيرة يا شباب مسيرة مسيرة اضرب 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 اضرب.
In 1945, it was kamikaze planes and even specially designed rocket bombs. In 2026, it will be Iranian fast attack boats designed to blow themselves up and sink ships. In 1945, it was Japanese Shinyo motorboats designed to ram warships and detonate. In 2026, it will be Iranian Gadia midget submarines, optimized for operations in the shallow Persian Gulf, armed with torpedoes and anti-ship missiles. In 1945, it was Japanese Kiten one-way midget submarines. There are also obvious similarities between World War II Japan and today's Iran, both fighting for their very existences against a more powerful foe, both believing in a form of martyrdom to protect their nation. All in all, a very formidable combination of technically skilled weapons, coupled with a fierce determination not to surrender, could make any US move into the Strait of Hormuz very expensive in terms of loss of life and ships. In the case of Japan, the use of so-called special attack units brought them some success. As the US fleet arrived off Okinawa in 1945, it was brought under intense attack, primarily from kamikazes, in the most part ordinary Japanese fighters loaded with bombs and given enough fuel for one-way missions. Kamikazes attacked in swarms, the idea being to swamp Allied anti-aircraft defenses, and leading inevitably to some getting through and striking their targets. Japanese also developed the more sophisticated Oka kamikaze rocket bomb, whose small size and very high speed made them extremely hard to intercept. It is reasonable to suggest that any naval flotilla entering the Strait of Hormuz will be deluged by swarms of cheap Shahed drones, forcing the Americans to expend extremely expensive missiles in huge numbers to try and stop them. And the law of averages suggests that a few will get through to strike their targets. Unlike at Okinawa in 1945, in 2026 the Iranians will also field large numbers of anti-ship missiles fired from land, probably in combination with the Shahed drones and also ballistic missiles. The kamikaze attacks of April to June 1945 saw 1,465 kamikaze aircraft organized into waves. 15% got through US and British defenses to sink between 26 and 36 ships and damaged up to 368 others, killing 3,000 Allied sailors and wounding a further 6,000. The Shinyo attack boats employed by the Japanese bear a remarkable resemblance to the Iranian drone boats already hitting tankers in the straits. They were of two different types in 1945, one of 1.35 tons and one of 2.2 tons, and were able to reach speeds of 26 and 30 knots respectively. In the bow was a Type 98 explosive charge of 600 pounds, or 270 kilograms. Some carried a pair of 120mm or 4.7-inch anti-ship rockets on launchers. Off Okinawa, Shinyos sank one landing craft infantry gunboat and a landing ship medium and damaged 2 U.S. destroyers and a cargo ship. The Iranian boats are apparently held in large underground storage facilities on the strait, reports calling them a vast kamikaze fleet, which looking at these pictures sounds correct. Already, drone speedboats have struck and severely damaged tankers. They appear to be very similar to this, a North Korean attack boat that I photographed several years ago in Seoul. We know that North Korea has provided a lot of assistance to Iran over the years, and Iran is basically licensed building its own versions of North Korean weapons. The Japanese Kiten one-way submarine was basically a modified Type 93 torpedo with the addition of a cockpit for a pilot. The Type 93 was Japan's famous long-lance torpedo, powered by oxygen and kerosene, and was the most advanced in the world during World War II. Weighing 2.7 tons and 9 meters long, or 29 feet, it had a range of up to 40 kilometers at 34 to 36 knots, but was capable of up to 50 knots with a 1,080-pound or 490-kilogram warhead. Used in several battles at Okinawa, Kitens were launched at Allied forces but without success. The Iranian Navy has 20 Gadia midget submarines in service based on the North Korean Yono-class submarine. The Gadia are not self-sacrifice vehicles but instead are simply small conventional submarines, designed to operate in the shallow Persian Gulf. Each vessel is 125 tons submerged, 29 meters or 95 feet in length, with a crew of 7. And armed with two 21-inch torpedo tubes firing two types of torpedo, the latter, the Hoot torpedo, being a supercavitational torpedo designed to travel at an astonishing 220 miles per hour submerged, and a real danger to small warships like frigates and destroyers. The Gadia can also launch two types of anti-ship cruise missiles. U.S. analysts say that the Gadia are well designed for ambush and anti-access or area denial operations, and the U.S. fleet is prone to a high threat emanating from the sheer numbers of these small but lethal submarines. They add another layer of threat to any Western naval assets trying to penetrate the Strait of Hormuz. It may be that a North Korean version of the Gadia was responsible for sinking the South Korean corvette ROKS Chonan in March 2010 using a torpedo. The basic point about both Japan in 1945 and Iran in 2026 is that both countries are fighting for their lives and are throwing everything they have at their enemies. And it is indisputable that Iran has a wide range of weapons, many of them extremely advanced, and plenty of them, with which to make any attempt to capture the Strait of Hormuz extremely costly for the US Navy and its allies. Many thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also visit my audiobook channel, War Stories with Mark Felton. You can also help to support both of my channels at PayPal and Patreon, details in the description box below.